Hello and welcome to Brand X Reviews. In this one I'm going to be doing part 4 with my co-review of the core in this Star Trek movie retrospective. In part 1 we talked about the Star Trek original series movies. Part 2 we moved on to talking about the Next Generation series movies, and then in part 3 we talked about the J.J. Abrams Kelvin universe movies. In this part we're going to talk about what's going to come next, rumours, speculation, that kind of thing. So basically, obviously we've got these movies up till now, we've had 13 of them, and for better or for worse, it's a pretty good franchise, and I think it really kind of peaked with the original series cast. Obviously the Next Generation kind of had its moments, especially if you're a fan of the Next Generation as well, you'll have a particular liking for them. And then you've got the more recent films that came from 2009 onwards with Chris Pine as Captain Kirk. Those ones are a little bit more accessible to the general public. Anybody could kind of go see them, enjoy them, and kind of get what they were about. A lot of the previous movies, you did kind of need to do a bit of homework going in order to really understand much of any of it. So it's kind of a weird franchise, obviously. For example, the first movie is kind of its own thing. Then you had Star Trek 2, 3 and 4, which are kind of regarded as their own trilogy, just because those three really do kind of follow on directly from each other. And 5 and 6 go back to being their own movies, that kind of thing. So there's been lots of mixing up of things throughout this franchise. So going forward, we don't really know what to expect. So myself and my co-review of the core here are going to get into this in further detail. Like I say, talk about some of the rumours, some of the announcements, and then some of the announcements that never came to anything. We're also going to speculate a little bit as well. So I hope you enjoyed this series anyway. We enjoyed doing it. There's plenty to say. It still feels like there's plenty that we've left unsaid as well. But this is a bonus video. We're only going to do 3 videos, so this one's a bit of a bonus. So again, I hope you enjoy. Very quick 10-second promo and affiliated link for you with a discount code Tactical Soap. We've got Maverick, Bond and Durden. Check out the video description for a link and a discount code.
Right, so we're back, and this one I think you can maybe take the lead more on this one if you want. We're going to talk about Star Trek, what they've done after the J.J. Abrams movies. The previous 3 videos we talked about the original series movies, the Next Generation movies, the J.J. Abrams trilogy 3 movies, and in this one you were wanting to talk about what's to come and maybe some other stuff like with what they've been doing with the label Star Trek. So yeah,
I certainly think if your friends like been into these things and like looking up like information like, oh, are there going to be more of them? Oh yeah, Star Trek 4 definitely happening. Oh, cool. Yeah, about that.
Yeah,
there has been a lot of like announcements. The main thing was like, yep, we're doing a like Star Trek 4 essentially. I don't think they've really put like a subtitle on this. This would be like After Beyond. So you've got Star Trek, you got Star Trek Into Darkness, you got Star Trek, Beyond, and then it's like whatever this film would have been, currently untitled Star Trek 4, whatever.
kind of like the Batman movie that was going to be part of the DC universe, and it's just kind of like its own thing now, and it's kind of weird because it's running parallel with other DC properties but completely independent of it, but it was supposed to be part of that.
But yeah, it's basically like, yep, we're going to do a 4th film, and then basically they haven't been able to get the finance for it because this was announced about the same time Beyond came out. And a lot of the people who like financed Beyond got burnt because it didn't do too well at the box office. But you will constantly get these articles coming out from like, basically like from news outlets that should know fucking better, and they're like, yep, it's happening. It's all in it's all in production. Like, we're gonna get a Star Trek 4. They don't have the money. They don't have like the cast on board. They've been doing all kinds of weird stuff. Like, we're gonna do one. We're going to do one, but it might have a new cast. No, we're going to do one. It's definitely got Chris Pine and Chris Hemsworth in it. And
William
Chris Pine and Chris Hemsworth are just like, this is news to us. Like, Nobody's spoken to us about this film. What?
Well, I heard that Shatner was on board at one point.
Yeah, it's like all kind of stuff like that. Like, oh, we're going to do another film, but it's going to be with what's his name directing? Yeah, Tarantino directing.
Tarantino.
But Tarantino was like, I don't get any of this alternate universe bullshit. Can I just do something in the main universe? And like Abrams is like, yeah, sure. Nobody likes the alternate universe. Do whatever the fuck you want. So it's like, okay, what the fuck is happening? It's like, as far as we understand at the moment, fuck all is happening. They don't have the money. I think at the moment they've managed to wheedle enough money together to make like almost like a straight to streaming TV movie type thing, maybe. But they're not going to afford the actual cast. So fuck knows what's going to happen there.
Because they've been doing pretty bad jobs with the TV stuff. A lot of it's been kind of just the message.
It has been shite, to put it mildly.
Yeah. Have they continued the Abrams verse in any any shows? Is there anything that's kind of like gone off with that?
Well, that's just it. Like originally, that was the plan. Like, right, we're going to do like a TV show, and it's going to be based on the Abrams verse stuff. And then they decided, well, no, nobody wants the Abrams verse stuff. They want the original stuff. That's what the fans actually want. All right, so we're going to set it in the original universe, except it's clearly the Kelvin timeline universe. It's like, okay, there's no way this fits together with like this stuff we've seen in the other films. Like, we've done yet another prequel for some bizarre reason. Given Enterprise was a flop and people were pissed off with it, now we've gone even further back. It's like, why the hell did you think that was a good idea?
Yeah, just sound very confusing. I've not followed. I mean, I'm a Star Trek original series fan. If it's Kirk and Spock and all that, count me in. I've got a lot of respect for the Next Generation. I just don't own it. I've no plans to ever watch it. Same with DS9 and Voyager as well. I never watched Voyager. I used to watch a lot of DS9. I really enjoyed it. There's a lot of good stuff there. But to me, it's just the original movies and the series. But even now, even like beyond that, the stuff that they've been doing in more recent years, I've looked at and
they've done the unfortunately named STD, which is just how stupid they were going forward with this. They didn't even think, wait a minute, if we shorten this just the initials, it's an STD. Like, that's not to be taken the piss out of. Like Star Trek Discovery. And then they've done Star Trek Picard, which is a beautiful character assassination of Picard, to the point of people who've watched all of it are like, I don't even know if I can go back to the Next Generation anymore, because it's just kind of fucking, it's like soiled the character for us. It's like, yeah, this is the man who rebelled against Star Trek in Star Trek Insurrection. Except now when he disagrees with Starfleet, he just goes and like mopes on his fucking vineyard like a bastard for like a decade or two, and then comes back as an old man to get involved in the weirdest fucking plot you've ever seen.
Because then Patrick Stewart basically said in this new series, he's not actually Picard, he's just playing himself. And I always was. Well, no, he was Picard, and he's not that anymore.
Yeah, it's very much like, yeah, this is old man Picard goes around and apologizes for his privilege and stuff. It's like, this is not what anybody wanted. It's kind of like the Generations thing. People want to see, Picard go out, Kirk go out like a hero on the bridge, not die under a bridge that had fallen on him, you fuckers.
Yeah. But even that was, at least they just killed his body, not his actual character, which this Picard series seems to have.
Oh, yeah, I mean, ultimately, in Generations, it's like, yeah, we need you to come back. We need you to be, like, the captain you were one last time to, like, help save the day. And ultimately, he managed to pull himself out of the perfect paradise to do that because, people need him. Picard's like, oh, no, people need me, but I'm going to fuck off to my vineyard for, like, a few decades.
Yeah, there was some redemption kind of with what they did with Kirk in Generations, but with Picard, it's like they say, they can assassinate you or they can assassinate your character. They kind of assassinated his body, Kirk, when they killed him. But with Picard, they've assassinated his character, like you say, it's tainted everything that you saw before. If you view it as canon.
I don't. Like I say, I watched half of Picard and got bored with it and gave up. I stuck around with STD for like 2 seasons. And just the third season, I watched the first episode, and I'm like, I am just fucking bored at this point. This is crap. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And then they've done Strange New Worlds, not bothering watching it. They've done Lower Decks, like an animated thing. It apparently started off really shit, but has improved somewhat. But it's like, you know what? I'm not sticking around with it. I'm not supporting it. Like, if you keep giving these chuckle fucks from like Abrams's production firm like control over this, like, why am I'm not wasting my money buying Paramount Plus just to watch this shit.
Yeah, it sounds a bit embarrassing anyway.
It is. Like, now they're doing Brave New World, which is like, oh, this is about the one sort of thing that worked in STD, the Christopher Pike stuff. So it's like, yeah, this is going to be character assassination of like him. We're going to get number one, who was actually an interesting female character, but she's now going to be absolutely perfect and kind of cringy. You just fucking know it.
Yeah.
And Spock, like young Spock, could have been interesting because he was very different when you see him in the cage. Like, he was laughing and stuff, and like, he'd have more personality. But it's like, yeah, we've seen him in STD. It's going to be shit.
Yeah. Yeah, that The Cage, that pilot episode, nothing to do with Paul Cage, if you're watching. Because it was called The Menagerie, wasn't it, the original? Yeah. And obviously they hadn't established Spock at that point as who he is, and he laughs, doesn't he? So
Yeah,
like,
because
"Oop,
Leonard
that's the wrong
Nimoy is
one."
saying, like, you know, the character of number one, kind of the first officer, the female first officer, played by Majel Barrett, is very kind of like emotionless and focused and like, you know, kind of like zeroed in on a job and stuff. She's not like emotional at all. So he felt he kind of had to play a bit more emotional to kind of like play off her kind of thing.
Right.
Which is why he's like a bit more emotive in that.
Yeah.
But it does lead to brilliant lines like, you know, the women on the transporter pad disappear and Spock's in turns around and goes, "The women!" Like really loud, like really dramatic.
Yeah.
You ever find that clip? It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Women!
There's one other thing kind of breaking off a little bit. I was talking to Stuart about this with the, you know, to throw something positive into the Star Trek thing.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to Trouble with Tribbles and Trials and Tribulations, where it was in an episode of DS9 where they go back in time to an episode of the original series, and it was edited in such a way that you can kind of show like the DS9 crew interacting with like the original cast on, you know, footage from the original series. And there's a bit with the famous bit with the Klingons where they're in a bar and some old Klingons walking where they've just basically like got like funny eyebrows and like darker skin and stilly hair. And was it I forget what the names of the characters now. The wasn't it the Scott, the guy that's like the Scotty equivalent, the engineer.
O'Brien.
O'Brien, that's he's there, and they mention like a Klingon has walked in, and they say no, I don't see any Klingons, and obviously that's a Klingon there, and it's because Worf explains it as something embarrassing happened.
We don't talk about it. Ultimately, it was explained in Enterprise, so yeah, it's just something embarrassing we don't talk about.
Yeah, it's like genetic experimentation or something that went on for a few years.
Klingons.
Klingons?
Over there and over there.
Those are Klingons?
All right. You boys have had enough.
Mr. Worf?
They are Klingons. And it is a long story.
What happened? Some kind of genetic engineering? A viral mutation?
We do not discuss it with outsiders.
So yeah, it's quite funny because obviously the Klingons, the original series, looked a certain way, but then when they brought the movies out, they kind of gave them a redesign out of nowhere, and it looked a lot better.
Like I say, they basically just got big eyebrows and kind of dark, kind of like skin.
Yeah,
like I said, they looked all right for like the original series, but they would be kind of embarrassing if they still looked like that.
Yeah.
So they got like the brow ridges and stuff. Like the dudes actually make them look a bit more alien.
Yeah. So there's a continuity error there that they kind of made a joke about, and it like worked in like a really like brilliant way.
So we do not speak of this.
Yeah. So yeah, well, that's a positive note to end on, I suppose. But yeah, well, we hope you've enjoyed this video series. You can check out the playlists on Brandex Reviews because we've got a lot of Star Trek videos. I did a lot of years ago talking about Star Trek hand phaser replicas. Me and you, the core, we did a video talking about the Next Generation board game, didn't we?
Yeah.
Experience Minge.
Beej! It doesn't even sound like Minge. What the fuck?
If you want to go back and watch
yeah,
it,
like I say,
it's a
hopefully
funny
you've
video.
enjoyed this retrospective. Like I say, just to anybody who's a fan of the Abrams films, treat any kind of news about upcoming series or kind of films with the kind of mindset of, okay, they're broke. Is this actually there to advertise this to me as the consumer? Or are they just trying to drum up interest so they can sell this to like investors? So they actually have the money to make the fucking film. And a lot of the time, any announcements you've heard about Star Trek 4, it's the latter, not the former.
Yeah, I think a lot of the people that have been coming out with these rumours have been drinking a lot of Romulan ale at this point because they're just making stuff up.
God, they actually brought out Romulan ale. Like, it was an energy drink.
Yeah, I've still got a can of it somewhere on display.
It's like the only thing they could make was like neon kind of like bluey kind of colour that Romulan ale is an energy drink because that's full of artificial shit.
Yeah. So, but yeah, you can check those out. We're probably going to do some more videos as well because there's the 4Ks coming out. So I'll probably do some reviews of those. When I get those, I might bring them out of yours, car, because there's like a box set with some nice stuff included in it. So we could maybe talk about that at the time. So that's coming in September, probably, if it's coming at all. And obviously, at the end of October, we're going to be doing our 10th annual Halloween series. And we've kind of got an idea as to what we're going to talk about this year, but we'll keep that quiet until the time. So, yeah, a bit of news there for everybody. So, yeah, well, I'll leave it there for now. Like I say, I hope you enjoyed this. You can like the video, subscribe to the channel, and you can check the video description for a link to Tactile Soap, one of our affiliates. You can get a discount code of 15% there from that. But, yeah, we'll leave it there. Unless any last words from the core?
No, I think that about sums it up.
All right, cool. Well, we weren't going to say it, but we'll say it anyway. May the Fourth be with you.
Ah! Bastard!
Live long and prosper. All right. See y'all there. Bye.
Ooh.
She knows I'm going and she won't look at me. She's sulking. Maisie, I'm going. I'm leaving. I'm not looking at him. I'm sulking.